And welcome back to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, here every Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time, here to talk about all things professional wrestling, all the action inside and out. Also, superstar rumors, injury statuses and stuff like that. Promotions, we go from AEW to WWE. But we just talk about all things professional wrestling. And, I have a lot of fun as hell here on the GSMC Sports Network. So, obviously, if I'm, not, if you see somebody not having fun doing something, I feel like you don't really have fun watching it. And I feel like, professional wrestling is a gem. Love professional wrestling because, it tweaks the imaginations of the fans, also creates a little bit of realism, but also throws in a little bit of fiction and awesome matches with these dudes that are completely strong, that are completely just, these guys are dogs. I don't think I would ever be able to be a WWE superstar. Of course, growing up, you've always, I grew up a wrestling fan. So I was really like, I told my brothers and sisters, I was like, guys, we should all be a tag team and stuff like that. But, I think the only person who still has that dream is myself. Just kidding. But before we jump into any more segments, I want to remind you guys to use the tips and donations link at gsmcpodcast.net. Shoot me your comments, questions, and concerns. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. Tell me things you want me to further elaborate on. Give me some of your opinions. Maybe some of your, takes on some professional wrestling. Pretty badass. I would, highly, open to that. Remember the Superman punch, that like and subscribe button to the show. Follow the show. Follow the GSMC Sports Network. Once again, the link is at the gsmcpodcast.net. All right, so let's go ahead and dig on into that. Sorry, switch there. All right, here we go. We're gonna talk about the top baby faces. Honestly, like I said, it's subjective, and obviously a lot of this is during the time when I started peaking as a wrestling fan. When my after my late teens, early 20s, I would say. But no, we're going to talk about it. So first we have Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar, known as one of the biggest heels in WWE history. I honestly don't think this man has been a babyface for longer than like 4 months or 5 months. Like it's crazy. But it's just because Brock Lesnar he's so talented and he's so dominant that people just kind of know that he's going to win his matches. And I think that pisses a lot of people off. Which, all power to you. All power to you. Of course, if that's what gets your boat flowing, I just throw myself in the river and go with the flow, baby, 1,010%. But we had Brock Lesnar since he returned in 2012. He was known as a big heel in 2015 after he was screwed out of the WWE Championship match with Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, the Monday Night Raw, after he saw him F5ing Michael Cole, propelling himself into a quote-unquote babyface. And then recently you saw him come back as like Country Brock, came back with like with denim jeans and with a cut off plaid, like a flannel kind of thing. I can't believe I ever flannel. Man, I haven't wore flannel since I was in high school. It's crazy. I can't pull it off like Brock Lesnar, to be honest. He pulled it off pretty well. But then he came back and he challenged Roman Reigns. Obviously, he cannot challenge Roman Reigns when he was the Universal Champion. But Cody Rhodes is open now. Would be interesting to see, especially after Roman Reigns' return. Cody Rhodes is gonna need an opponent. I still think he's gonna further kind of be along the lines with the new young bloodline. Obviously, next Friday on SmackDown, SmackDown's returning to Fox. We're gonna get some answers. We're gonna get some answers. I'm excited as hell. Can't wait to see what happens. But that was one of my top baby faces that I definitely remembered as a WWE fan. Next, we have the Usos. Usos in 2017 had a great match with the New Day. At the end of the match, they extended each other's hands, shaking their hands in mutual respect. And then after that, you had these tag teams battle each other for the longest time. For the longest time. Maybe this was kind of like you know, like a so long kind of thing because, of course, after that, then in 2000, once when they formed the bloodline, they were, undisputed champions. Not even the New Day could dethrone them. And these guys were kind of like the modern day Dudley Boys, Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy, the Hardy Boys, and Edge and Christian. Of course, there's not a third tag team, but it would have been interesting to have a third tag team. But no, you have these two great tag teams that are definitely WWE Hall of Famers in the future. Definitely 1,010%. So the handshake, got the fans all excited. I remember watching that, got me excited. And I don't know, it would, because the Usos, they turned heel in 2016. And then, a year of these guys battling the hell out of each other, extending each other's hands for handshake is, always cool. Always a great moment for wrestling fans. So, I have the Usos there. I also have Randy Orton. Randy Orton feeling pushed to the side by Triple H's golden child, Seth Rollins, back during the whole authority thing and stuff like that. You saw Randy Orton hit a thunderous RKO on Seth Rollins in 2014, perpetuating them into one of the best feuds in modern day WWE, especially in the 2010s. Because you had Randy, who's still on the top of his game. Even nowadays, he's still very much on the top of his game. And you had Seth Rollins, young, handsome, fast, athletic. He just seemed like Triple H wanted him to be the new guy, wanted him to be the new face of WWE. You did have Seth Rollins turn on the Shield, and then you had the Authority with Kane and Triple A. It was just Randy at first. Then I think there was a small smidge with Evolution came back to battle the Shield as well. But then at the end of the day, you had Seth Rollins, a chair shot that was heard all around the world on Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose, and then that was the end of the Shield. That was insane in itself. But Randy Orton and Seth Rollins, they had some great matches. They had some amazing matches. This feud was probably one of the best moves by WWE. I was sure, at the time when I watched it, I was like, I was a little skeptical, to be honest, because I was like, when Randy Orton left the Authority, I was like, okay, so now you just kind of have an aging Kane out there. Like, you didn't really have that muscle. You didn't really have that pizzazz that Randy Orton brought the group. Of course, you saw during Randy Orton's earlier career, you saw him with Evolution, Triple H, Ric Flair, Batista, and he was betrayed. So, a little bit of payback on the game, Triple H. But no, honestly, some of the biggest babyface turns, is by Randy Orton. And, not just in this specific scenario. Now you kind of see him going out there right now, being with Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens. And I like it. I thought it was great. And you saw him in a small, brief time as WWE Tag Team Champions with Matt Riddle, RK Bro. I thought that kind of, Randy Orton was like a babyface. And after he got injured, after he got sidelined by the Bloodline, which I feel like Randy Orton's going to tell Cody Rhodes, like, you can't trust these people. These guys sideline me. Then everybody hates Roman Reigns right now. So when he comes back, he ain't gonna have a lot of friends. He's gonna have a lot of people gunning for him. And the only people that could help him and protect him is the Bloodline. But he kind of burned those bridges at WWE Summerslam. So to be honest, I love Randy Orton. I think Randy Orton will forever be one of the best heels, also one of the best baby faces. I say this about Randy's character all the time. He's that guy who, you love him one moment, next you hate him. But that's why you love Randy Orton. That's why, kind of goes out there and he kind of does his own thing there. I got a chat from my man, UNK Bishop. Randy has always been a draw. Um, I think, by draw, like Randy Orton always having potential or something like that. I agree 1,010%. I think Randy Orton has always been, uh, in your words, like a draw to the WWE. Always could be a WWE champion when in doubt. Put the belt on Randy. Establish some consistency on the Raw or SmackDown roster in the draft. Guess what? Draft Randy Orton. Bam. You have some veteran capabilities right there. Also, someone who's still hungry, tip top shape. Randy Orton, 1,010%. One of the best babyface turns. And another one, I remember watching this one, not tonight, but I remember watching it, and it was just so great. So great. We have the Shield turning babyface. We had the Authority. We had Kane in a fancy suit, now the governor of Tennessee, Nashville. No, I don't know too much of politics and stuff like that. And then he ordered the Shield to attack a defenseless Jerry Lawler, but instead they turned around and they looked right at Kane. When that happened, I was mesmerized. I was like, dude, what the heck just happened? This is so sick. I loved Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns. At first, I kind of, they were a thorn in the side because I was rooting for Ryback to, take out CM Punk, but no, they debuted from NXT and they were, causing wreaking havoc. And then when you had them all turn babyface, and it was just so great. And then you had Seth Rollins turn on the Shield, which, kind of paid dividends, and why this moment is so great as well. Because you kind of look back on it and you're like, man, when these three were together, they were just unbeatable. They were unstoppable. I have the Shield also on this list. Also on this list, biggest babyface turns, Becky Lynch. When she was big time Bex, it didn't make sense in 2018. I think, and then she became the man, and eventually she had a short-lived, you know, uh, she had a short-lived reign as a heel, and she did it good. I think she did it pretty good. But all in all, Becky Lynch, you need to have her in this role as like the man. When WWE created the man, I felt like that was one of the smartest moves by WWE. Kind of have her going out there, defining all odds, being a tough SOB. Better than big time Bex. Better than, I'm better than you on the right. I remember, oh my God, that was crazy. I remember when she did turn heel, I was like, dude, like why? Didn't really make sense to me. And lastly, we have CM Punk, the anti-authority babyface. When he left WWE after the pipe bomb, fans remembered CM Punk and they loved him, and they still love him. Every single wrestling event you would go to, you would hear the CM Punk chants, although CM Punk was done. He was done with wrestling, professional wrestling, WWE, anything. And that was big. That just means that he was he was loved by the WWE universe, loved by wrestling fans all over the world. And then when you saw him return at Survivor Series last year, the fans welcomed him with open arms, like, you know, definitely what they, should have done. It was cool to have your, the prince that was promised back, the best in the world, CM Punk. All right, guys. Well, hey, do not go anywhere. We're going to jump on into our fourth segment. We're going to talk about some failed wrestling gimmicks that are currently happening, and it's kind of making my head hurt. So we're going to talk about that as soon as we come back. So, hey, just grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite beverage, and hey, stay tuned.